Hey everyone, what's up? In this video we're going to be taking a look at this mixer right here. This is the Behringer NOX606. This is Behringer's new flagship 4-channel club mixer in their NOX series range of mixers. There's also the 202, 303, 404. Those are more 2- and 3-channel scratch-oriented mixers. The 606 is their 4-channel club install mixer, and the 1010 as well. That's a 19-inch rack mount mixer. But the 606 is Behringer's new flagship mixer. I don't think it's replacing the DDM 4000. That's Behringer's other flagship mixer. Quite different from the DDM 4000. I owned one of those for a couple years as well, and I was really impressed with it. So I figured I'd take a shot with the 606 and check it out. Now, Behringer is not really well known for their quality. Their mantra is, double the features at half the price, and that usually comes at the expense of, build quality and parts and components. At first glance, if you know any other mixer manufacturers, the NOX606 is basically a carbon copy clone of the Allen Heath Xone 92. It's pretty much same features, one-to-one direct copy. So again, not very innovative from Behringer, but if they're going to copy a mixer, they might as well copy one of the best all-around mixers, in my opinion, is the Xone 92. It features pretty much all the same features as the Xone 92, including its famous 4-band EQ, so you have a high, 2 mids, and a low. And it also features its dual analog VCF filters on both sides, so you have a high-pass, band-pass, and low-pass filter that you can assign to any channel right here with the, right there. You can assign it to either the left or right one. And so in this video mainly we're going to be looking at the mixer, the build quality, the ins and outs and all that stuff, and in the next video we're going to look at the filters and the effects, something the Xone 92 does not have. The NOX606 has built-in effects. We're going to take a look at those in the next video, but in this one we're just going to do a brief rundown of the mixer, how it feels, the buttons, knobs, inputs and outputs and all that. So, as I mentioned, Behringer isn't exactly known for their quality. But, they're trying to change that with this NOX range, and they did a pretty good job. But again, it's still a Behringer in the end. The faceplate is metal, so that's good. Nice and solid. The mixer itself, overall, though, it looks really big, but it is pretty much light as a feather. I can pick this up no problem with one hand. It only weighs about 10 pounds, compared to like a DJM 800 or 900 or the Xone 92. Those weigh upwards of 15 to 20 pounds. So, again, it's what's inside that counts, and Behringer usually lacks in that department. So let's take a look at some of the more things on the outside. You got channel faders. These are just standard alpha faders. They're prone to bleeding. Kind of plasticky feeling, and got a little bit of wobbliness, as you can see right there. I can wobble them back and forth. The crossfader, however, is an Infinium crossfader. It's a contact-free optical crossfader, so that's good for all you scratch DJs that like to scratch and stuff. Move it to the left and take the cap off. There's adjustable tension, so you can adjust the tension feel of the crossfader. So you want it nice and loose for scratching, or you can tighten it up if you want, good, smooth, solid mixing. So it has the famous 4-band EQ of the Allen Heath Xone 92. The knobs, nice and rubbery feeling, good resistance to them when you're turning them. They do kind of wobble a little bit though, as you can see right there, so a little wobbliness. Let me take a fader cap F1. The pot stems are plastic, unfortunately. They're not metal, so you want to be careful with those. Those are, don't want to twist them too hard and break them. But again, that's the thing with Behringer. You got to cut corners somewhere and cut costs to save money. So all the stems are plastic. What else here? We have a dual mic section, 2 mic section over here, which can also be used as a return, which you're going to use up here with these auxiliary sends. You have 2 auxiliary sends for each channel that you can send out to an external effects processor or something like Ableton, and then route it back in either on any of the other channels you have available, or you can use the mic or return channels. Over here we have the master LED meters. I'll get into that in a minute. Dual outputs, mix 1 and mix 2. You have booth output, dedicated control with mono and mute button. Down here in the bottom is the headphone queuing section. You have both a 1/4-inch jack and a 1/8-inch jack. Your headphone volume knob, your cue master pan knob. So if you pull it all the way left, you'll hear just the cue. All the way right, you'll hear just the master signal. However, I found this doesn't work actually as it should, at least in my opinion. When you have a Q channel up and you have the fader knob all the way to the right on the program, you still hear a little bit of the Q signal. I'm not sure why that is, but something I noticed, and I don't think that's how it's supposed to be, at least on any other mixer. I usually turn it all the way right. You just hear only the master signal, no Q at all. But you hear a little bit of the Q even with it all the way to the right like that. Just FYI. Also, other monitor options, you can cue your auxiliary sends 1 and 2 before you send them out. You can preview them. It does have split Q as well, so engage that, and they'll separate the master and your Q signal into both sides on your headphones. One side is the master, one side is the Q signal. And the post EQ, pre EQ button, if you have that engaged, you can hear how it sounds, after you tweak the EQ before you cue the channel up, or you can disengage that and it'll just be like no EQs at all, just basically just the gain is all you hear. So that's the outside of the mixer. One thing I did also don't like is this front edge is rather sharp. I wish they would have smoothed that out or tapered it or something, because I've already scratched myself a little bit. Just rubbing my fingers up against it, scratching and stuff like that. So the edges are very sharp. I wish they would have smoothed those out. So that's basically the top side of it. So let's take a look around the back, inputs and outputs. Lots of I/O. You have a USB sound card also built in, so that's good if you want to record your set. Don't need to install any drivers, just plug it in and then you can record in something like Audacity, SoundForge, Adobe Audition, anything like that, so you don't have to use one of the record outputs or one of the other master outputs and run that into another sound card and record that and do another extra digital analog conversion and all that stuff like that. MIDI out, the mixer is a MIDI mixer, however it's not quite as featured as the DDM4000. Only a couple things send MIDI out. Like the 92, it sends MIDI clock data. This knob I believe does. I know we were looking at it upside down. This button, I believe the frequency knobs and the crossfader send MIDI, and that's it. So none of these, all these buttons and knobs don't send any MIDI, so very limited, but you've got a good couple controls. So you have a dedicated record outputs, XLR master output. You also have a 1/4 inch, another master output, then a 1/4 inch booth output. Your auxiliary sends, which are 1/4 inch, and then your microphone or return sections. Then you have your 4 inputs. You have a line and a phono input on each channel, and the phono input can be changed to line input as well if you push these buttons in. So theoretically you can have a total of up to 8 line input devices connected to the mixer. So that's pretty good. And you have a universal power supply and power switch. So that is the back of the mixer. And that's pretty much it for this video. So that's the basic rundown of the NOX606. Again, it's basically just a carbon copy clone of the Allen Heath Xone 92. But unfortunately nowhere near the quality of the 92. I've owned one of those as well for a couple years. I really wish I never sold it, but I did, unfortunately. So I figured I'd pick this up just to maybe try and get some of the functionality back, because I really did like the Xone 92. Another thing with the I want to mention is the LED meters. We'll take a look at this in the next video when I do play with the effects and the filters. There's really no indicators, level indicators, so I really don't know where unity is or where you're clipping or anything. I can run the mixer pretty high into the gains, and even when I'm recording it still doesn't clip, so I don't know, I just found that kind of weird, and I'll get into that in the next video. But other than that, yeah, so this is basic overview of the NOX606 mixer from Behringer. Again, this is their new flagship 4-channel mixer, and in the next video we're going to take a look at the effects up here at the top. Just a quick rundown. You have a delay, tape echo, regular echo, flanger, phaser, auto pan, limiter, distortion, another high pass and low pass filter, which I find rather odd since you already have dual filters on the mixer anyways. Why they have these, which I understand they want to keep the mixers the same across the entire series of ranges and save money and costs and whatnot, but I digress. Anyways, reverse reverb, regular reverb, and a vocoder. This is basically the wet and dry knob, for the effects. Your beat parameter amount, channel sign, selector knob, you tap the tempo in, on and off. So we're going to take a look at those, the effects and the filters, in the next video.